So now let's jump into COVID more. I only know what it was like in the U.S. So many people ask this question. What was COVID like in China? Okay. Welcome to the Mic, the Made in China podcast. This is Colin, your host, and also the producer of the podcast. Marco, thanks for taking the time. And you're actually living in Hangzhou, just like I am. You're from LA?
That's correct.
Awesome. And really, thank you for taking the time out of your day to join me. So if you don't mind, let's start with just getting your life story. You grew up in Los Angeles?
Yeah. So my parents are from Guatemala. They immigrated like in the 70s and immigrated to LA. Grew up in LA, born and raised. Went to university in San Diego. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Involved in sports, like from a very young age. From first grade, started doing Taekwondo for about 6 years, and then transitioned over to like American sports, like football, basketball, track and field. Anything my friends were doing, I was like, okay, let me get in there.
Let me give this a shot.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to hang out with my friends after school, right? And so I ran competitively track and field from freshman year all the way through to junior year in university. I got a little bit of money to run on the track team at Cal State San Marcos. And after a couple injuries, I decided to hang up my track spikes, and by chance, actually, I have to give a shout out to my roommate at the time, Richie Gray. He's a big time optometrist now, but he was like, hey man, so they're gonna have like this free class at our university for a week. It was like Krav Maga actually, right? So that's like an Israeli like fighting system for for the military. And so then one day they were like introducing striking, one day they were introducing grappling, and we had just came off like a track season, so we're like in good shape, running like at least 50 miles a week. We're like, oh, this is going to be cake. These guys are going to get tired. And I just remember somebody like choking me for the first time and just feeling that panic of like not being able to breathe. And I was like, whoa, what's going on right here? And so like, oh, well, this is jiu-jitsu, And I was like, well, what's jiu-jitsu all about? So that day I went home and like Yahoo'd. I didn't Google, because back in the day it was Yahoo.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, what is jiu-jitsu? So then, started doing a little bit of research, and then after that I was like, damn, I like this. So let me figure out how I can continue training, and then that's that.
Right now you have the headset on, but if people could see your ears, they would know you're the kind of dude you don't want to mess with on the street.
I hope not. I'm getting older, so I wear nicer clothes these days, so I don't want to mess them up, right? But yeah.
No, yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, since been doing it now, training now for like 21 years, and then now it brought me, gave me a lot of opportunities, jiu-jitsu, met some of my best friends, allowed me to make some money, like even in the US off of jiu-jitsu a little bit, and now in China. So
wow, quite the journey. And I have to ask, like, Spanish as well. Do you speak Spanish?
Yeah.
As you mentioned Guatemala, and the way you said it, I'm thinking, okay, you must speak Spanish, English, and then some Chinese now that you're here?
Some Chinese.
Limited?
So I would say like when they say like, oh, you speak multiple languages, like, yeah, about like 2.3.
2.3. Okay. You get your Chinese at 30%. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can get by. My speaking is not as good as like my understanding.
Okay.
So if I hear somebody speak to me in Mandarin, it's I can understand most of it, depending on the speed
Sure.
that they speak to me. Answering back is the challenge, because I'm not so phonetically good with the tones, so that can change the whole sentence. You know what I mean? So, but for the most part, it's okay. I mean, it's my limited Chinese and a translation app. I mean, I'm good to go.
Yeah. I think that's really good information to give people. In addition to translating the language on the fly, right? You have to think about what you're trying to say in English and then translate it. You also have to think about the tones with Chinese.
Correct.
right? It's not enough to just say the Chinese word. You also have to say it in the correct pronunciation.
Yeah.
And that really hurts you.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
And I've attempted like to study Mandarin multiple times, and then like have
Gone back and forth.
I've gone back and forth, but I've like as with jiu-jitsu, I've always wanted to like say, for example, a technique. I was like, oh, I want to learn how to do this like today, and I want to be able to do it today. You know, I didn't want to wait. So I would always ask like my tutors or my students or my friends, like, hey, give me a couple phrases, you know? And they're like, well, you know, you really need to start with pinyin because it's like, you know, of course, it's the base. If you don't understand the tones, like, you know, you're gonna mess up like later on down the line. But yeah, so
And that's kind of like phonics. When you talk about pinyin, that's kind of like the phonics of English, right?
Correct,
It's the
correct.
basics of the language here.
correct. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense.
But yeah, for the most part, one of my goals for 2026 was to resume my studying of Mandarin because I'm gonna reach 8 years here. You know, it's kind of a shame that I can't speak because actually a lot of people here are pretty nice, you know, and they're always very curious about me. Like they'll see me or you know, next to my gym there's a very famous bodybuilding gym in Hangzhou, and like I've made a bunch of friends there because like, you know, if I'm not on the mats, like I'm lifting next door, and you know, it'll be just a simple wave or um, like a hello kind of gesture, you know. You know, that's the way that we communicate in my little Chinese, but I know that they want to talk to me, and actually
Right.
I want to talk to some of them too. So, and especially the guys that are most curious are like the taxi drivers. They're always like asking me like, "Hey, where are you from? Oh, what do you do here? How long you been here? Oh man, your Chinese is so good." And I was like, "Oh man, only if you knew. This is about the extent as it goes." You know what I mean? But yeah. So that's one of the goals for 2026.
And do you think so? I see you in being to foreign countries back and forth. A lot of people would ask, any intimidation? Is anybody intimidated by you? Your size, your build?
All the time.
Okay.
All the time, and just, well, yeah, I guess because of my size, although I don't think I'm that big, but I mean,
Yeah.
my size, they a little bit intimidated, or sometimes there's somebody that wants to communicate with me and maybe their English is as limited as my Chinese is, right? So then they'll get a sense of like, oh, they feel shy, like to talk to me, and I'm like, nah, don't feel shy, you know, it's all good, because the one that's shy actually is me, because I know that if I mess up one word, it's gonna, you know, throw the whole sentence off, as opposed to someone speaking to me and like they throw off, you know, 20% of the sentence. I still understand what they're saying, you
Right.
know, or I can fill in the blanks, you know. So yeah, that's I get that sometimes, or like, you know, sometimes like I'll see some regular people, like the people like I pass by down my community or whatever, and like I try to say hello sometimes, and they're just like, oh, like they want to look away, and I was like, man, it's all good.
Almost like you're putting pressure on them because they're like, okay, foreigner, this could go a lot of different directions.
Yeah,
And they're
think
just not sure, you know.
They think, I don't know, maybe I might be mean or something because I have a bald head too or whatever, and I'm just like, no, man, that's totally the opposite.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. Well, guys, he just came from a workout, so we're going to take a quick break. Let's get him a chicken bowl, and then we'll be back. Cheers, guys. All right, guys, we're back. We've gotten something to eat. We've got our Luckin coffees. We're ready to roll. So, all right. And I think, if I can remember right, we just discussed, I know we discussed you were in China for 8 years. I know we discussed previously
About language.
and sports growing up, but I think where we can jump into to kick off this next part is where your experience in China began. So how did you move from the U.S. to China, or why did you move from the U.S. to China, and where did that 8 years in China begin?
Okay. So in the U.S., I was also I was working for a bank. I was a banker for a couple years, but training every night, and then teaching also a few nights a week at a couple different academies. And one of my friends mentioned that one of his friends here wanted to open up like a very big like boutique gym, have like a dance studio, have like a yoga studio, a personal training, a full gym, and also have like a quote unquote like MMA room, you know. And he was specifically looking for black belt, an American black belt. Um, so, long story short, my friend introduced me to this guy. I came here for like a weekend, which is crazy because the jet lag was like barely going away, and I was already hopping on another plane coming back.
Well, yeah. What was that flight? So it was an LA to PVG flight.
Yeah, straight.
Okay, straight
Yeah.
shot.
LA to Pudong, and then like they picked me up at Pudong. We drove. We didn't even take the high speed train. You know, we
Okay.
drove all the way to Hangzhou, and
That's about 2.5 hours.
yeah, about 2.5 hours. No, actually, like the funny thing about that is that so that was like my longest flight I ever had taken previously. So it was like 12 and a half hours, 13 hours, and super tired. The guy picks me up. He's like super excited. I mean, this is after I had already agreed to like, you know, oh, I'm jumping actually. The first trip, I came, they picked me up, and I came and I checked it out for 2-3 days. Okay.
Okay.
Then
Yeah.
they made an offer and I accepted.
Okay.
Okay. So then, like a month later, I came back, did the same trip, and the guy was super excited to pick me up. And like, again, I did that long haul, 13 hours. And he picks me up and directly he's like, "Oh man, I'm so happy you're here." He's like, "How you feel? I want to take you to this gym because I want to check out like how they run their classes and this and that." So we jump into like this cardio boxing class like after this long flight, and I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
Yeah.
And like I want to make a good impression, so I was like, "Okay." I was like, "This guy's paying me good money to come and teach, right?" So after that long flight, I went to this 1 hour long class doing this. I remember the gym name was like called Super Monkey, and it was like a cardio boxing class. And I was just like, just remember being like, Jesus Christ. I was like, had like an out of body experience because I was so tired, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah. So anyways, I come back, I work here for this guy for like about a year. He didn't manage the gym so well. So unfortunately that gym like shut down, but by that time I already had like pretty good
You built a network by that point. Yeah.
yeah, so I
Sure.
had a good base of students. I was pretty known because in Hangzhou at that time there was one black belt. Well, like he said he was a black belt, but it was not true. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Of
happens.
established people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very few.
And so I was pretty known at that time. Like I had like the highest accolades. Like definitely in Hangzhou, but among China, I mean, I have a world championship. I have a Pan American championship, American national championship
Jeez.
at that time at brown belt in the U.S. And so yeah, people knew who I was, and so at that point, I decided to go on my own. So I found one place, and then COVID started, and then I moved to another place, and then we were like training, like like undercover. And
Yeah.
then
The COVID thing had to be a curveball for
that
sure.
was tough, you know, because it was interesting. Because at that time, when everything started, I was in Thailand, you know, like just hanging out,
Yeah.
and then we started to hear like, oh, this is like crazy flu going on, and we're like, all right, well, let's chill a little bit longer. Let's extend
Hang out
our
here
flight.
for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, let's extend our flight. We'll extend our flight. And then finally we're like, man, it's not looking that good. Like we might not be able to get back in. And I had all my stuff here, you know, so
Sure.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh, we'll just go back. It's probably not gonna be that bad. We go back a couple of days later, they shut everything down. And so
Around what days were that? Or was that? I was in China when COVID first started. That was about Chinese New Year. I was here in 2020.
I believe it was in March.
And I was just leaving. So, yeah, you were coming back right after I left. Must have been.
I came back, I remember it was around like
We probably passed in the sky there. Just about.
waving out the window.
Yeah.
I would say I probably came back like mid to end of February.
Okay. Yeah, that was
that
about
year.
Yeah, that was about when we were leaving back to the U.S. You were coming back to China then. So,
Yeah.
Okay. Before we get too into the COVID, I want to ask you a couple questions about your initial decision to come to China. So,
Sure.
with that, when you came for your first visit to accept that offer, what about China? You come for that visit, and you're of course evaluating a few things on that visit to see, okay, is this the right jump for me? And some people in the United States might say, man, you're crazy for choosing to, pick up and move to China for all of these, whatever reasons might be in their head.
Heard that many times.
So what I guess was in your head before you made that trip? Because of course you were thinking, or you may have been thinking, a whole bunch. You might have had all these assumptions about what you might have saw, and then what were you able to overcome? What concerns did you still have? What kind of was going through your head as you left that first 3-day trip or 2-day analysis to say, all right, here's my final decision, and it's based on this?
Well, the initial 3-day trip that I that I had here to discuss the deal.
Yeah. I know it's a long time ago too, so that's part of it too. Is
thinking about
that's the hardest thing for us as people who have been in China for a long time is we don't really remember that original. We've been here for so long, we really don't remember what we felt China was before we came. So if you can remember back that far, it's just what
I think I just it was still a new experience. You go traveling, you go into a new you just reach your destination. You're still kind of high on that, I'm in a new place, new experience, and let me have some fun. Let me just enjoy the moment, enjoy this new experience. So, I came here. I came to Hangzhou. I visited Shanghai the first trip, so I saw Hangzhou was at that time, it's still a tier 2 city, but I mean it should be a tier 1 by now. I mean it's super overly developed, you know what I mean? And but I didn't see it. I didn't think it was so rural as everybody gets the common misconception. It's oh man, people walking around in rice fields and doing all this. I was no man, you guys stop watching the movies from the 80s, bro. I was it's not what it's like. But at that time I saw Hangzhou and I saw still developing, and I saw Shanghai, and I was Shanghai's downtown LA, you know what I mean? Staples Center and all that. So I didn't think it was gonna be any kind of weird experience. I would say I think I just thought okay, language gonna be a little bit tough, but I in my head I was somebody has to speak English around here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's what I thought. I was or I'll figure it out.
So you were prepared to overcome pretty much anything in that way, and you just were open to a new experience.
That, and also, I mean, I was very reluctant, to be honest, because I was on the fence when I went back from the original first little trip.
Yeah.
And actually, I remember the discussion with my coach, and he was he calls me Marcola. My name is Marco, but my coach is Brazilian, so he gives everybody a nickname. He's Marcola, man. He's just go. He's California's gonna be here when you get back. And I still remember those words because I was you know what, I'm gonna go. He's do it. It's because you know what, a lot of Brazilians would do this because they come from Brazil to the U.S. and they really don't speak the language. They come to teach jiu-jitsu, and they end up learning the language and they end up figuring it out. And he's just you'll figure it out. Just go do it. And he's go get the experience. Go have an experience. And then I was all right, cool. And anyways, I wasn't really thinking it's gonna be a long-term thing. Actually, at that time, the guy was asking me to come for a year.
Okay.
But in my head, I was I'll give this guy 6 months. You know what I mean? Because I was I don't know if I even want to stay a year. But the longer I stayed, the easier I realized it was to make money with doing what I do, in the fitness industry and specifically teaching jiu-jitsu. And I didn't realize how much how popular
jiu-jitsu is here. Yeah.
Well, no, how popular they're oh, you're from America, you're from Los Angeles. Oh man, Kobe. It's oh, you you see movie stars every day. I was oh, not really, but I was but if you believe that, it's all good. You know what I mean? But So they have their own common like they have their own like idea of what it's like to live in
Right.
LA too, right? So I thought it's interesting. So
That's so interesting the way you went through that. I think is very helpful to the person back home because for you, and tell me if I described this wrong, but you were on the fence about it in a way that your coach finally pushed you over the edge, and he just said, "Hey, even if you make it into the short-term contract where you hate it and you decide to just come right back, at least you gave this a shot."
exactly.
And you ended up being like, screw it. Tons of people, move for a short period of time and give things a shot. It works or it doesn't work for them. Let me go ahead and try it.
Exactly. And he said like, so look, somebody's gonna pay you to go, like basically have a trip. So and you're gonna get to train every day and teach jujitsu.
Treat it like a vacation. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. And what's the worst that can happen is like, well, I mean, I'm here 8 years, continuing to spread jujitsu like all throughout throughout China. You know what I mean? So it's for me, it's been like a very life changing experience. Like it really changed my perspective about a lot of things. So
And yeah, with the so now let's jump into COVID more and talk about during COVID. Of course, I wasn't actually here during COVID. We passed in the air. So
Yeah.
I was leaving during COVID back to the U.S. Me and my wife actually, and you were actually coming back from Thailand from your vacation back to China during COVID. What was COVID like in China? So many people ask this question, and it's like what I hear on the internet, even on my TikTok page, is like, "Oh, China was totally locked down. It was terrible to be in China." And I only know what it was like in the U.S. We had what the government was telling people to do, which was stay in your home as much as possible, wear a mask, try to social distance. We had little, tape on the ground in Walmart saying stand 6 feet apart.
yeah,
Were people really following it? Not kind of, sort of, really, it's America.
Yeah, sure. I could only give you my personal experience,
And that's, I think, what's helpful for people. Like, what was it like for you?
like in Hangzhou here, like, so first let's say where Hangzhou's at, Shanghai is like on the far east of China, like by the sea. If you take a fast train directly inland, that's where you're gonna for about an hour. I still don't know how far it is in distance.
Right, yeah. In miles, we don't.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's an hour on a fast train. And like, so basically I'm inland from Shanghai. For me, the worst thing that happened was like, I mean, I never got locked down per se. They had this like ordinance, I guess, around our province, Zhejiang province.
Zhejiang province,
okay,
where I'm living as well.
You can only leave your house 2 times a week to go get groceries. You can order as much as you want. That's not an issue.
Right.
But you can only leave your house 2 times a week. I don't know if I got lucky or what, but the guy downstairs just really didn't care. You know what I mean? Like we were leaving in and out and like whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's not a big deal. But you would leave I would leave my house. It was a ghost town. It's like nobody's outside. You know what I mean? We never got locked down. I mean, I would say the most inconvenient like experience was that at one point they were like having us all like do tests, like because that they found that like the incubation period was like 72 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
So we were doing tests like every 2-3 days or something.
What kind of test is like a mouth swab?
Sometimes was a mouth swab. Sometimes was the nasal one, which that one really sucked.
Put your head back and they shove the thing up your nose.
Yeah,
as far as you can?
I felt a couple of times like they took out a piece of my brain. I was like, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, man, take it easy. But I mean, I would say that was probably the most inconvenient part. But
Okay.
everything else, I mean, as long as you showed your, they were using the codes, like that's how they would monitor if you had taken your test or.
When you say codes, I don't even know.
Okay.
What do you mean?
So at that point, when it started to get a little bit more relaxed and they started to allow a little bit more freedom, they had a limit to the freedom, So basically, you had to take your test, right? if you took your test, they had a green code, a yellow code, and a red code.
Yes, I know about this. Okay,
Right?
I've heard about this. Yeah.
So the green is go. Green code means you can go and do whatever you want. Okay, so any place like a restaurant or the metro or the fast train or an airplane or a supermarket, whatever.
You're good.
You need to just show your green
And was
code.
that on Alipay or how did you?
It was on Alipay,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Alipay. So you could show it, boom, it's done.
You wake up, you saw this code, or how did you get your code for the day?
You had to take a test.
So you took the COVID test, and then it gave you the result on Alipay.
Yeah, like
Where did you go to take the test? Your neighborhood?
it was all over the place. Like you could go on Alipay and it would just say like, "Hey, testing place here, here, here." But I mean, I would be riding my e-bike to my gym,
Yeah.
and I would see at least like 3 along the way.
Okay.
I mean, there was never a lack of place to
No
take a
lack
test.
of testing.
No, I mean, and there was places that were like 24 hours as well.
Okay.
You know, like most of the hospitals had a 24-hour COVID test place. You know, so if you really needed to get one, you really needed to go somewhere like early in the morning the next day, you can get it done. You know, so that was the green code was all good. If you ever had a yellow code, that means that they, if I'm not mistaken,
Did you ever have yellow? Or
I had yellow before. I
Okay.
had yellow because
how many days?
maybe 2.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe 2. I had yellow because I didn't take a test.
And sorry, I'm breaking all the FEMA rules or whatever rules we got in, not FEMA, but whatever, you know, the healthcare rules in the United States. I'm not allowed to ask you health questions.
It's
sorry
all,
to everybody there. You know, I'm not trying to break the rules here.
We don't need to have
The yellow, green,
the HIPAA,
red.
the HIPAA rules.
Yeah, since this is in China, those shouldn't apply to me, right?
Yeah, you're all good, bro. I don't mind.
2 days of yellow, okay.
So the yellow just meant that I didn't take it in time,
Okay.
right? So if you didn't take it in time and that
Too long between tests. Almost.
exactly,
Okay.
and so once that time expired, it turned yellow, and if it took too long, it would eventually turn red, and you just had to go get another test. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. But there was some cases where like, if somebody in your building had tested positive for COVID, then everybody in that building's code would turn yellow.
Immediately.
Yeah. So then they would have to all go get a test and wait for the result and make sure that, hey, you're good. Okay, now you can go. Or I think, no, I'm sorry. Take that
Wow.
back. They were self-quarantined for 7 days.
Wow.
Yeah, because if somebody tests, like for example, this building, somebody tested positive, everybody in this building needs to get tested. And okay, you test negative. Okay, we need to wait because the incubation period is 72 hours or something like that.
So you could, in theory, get it. So now you're stuck at home for 7 days.
Exactly, 7
Okay.
days, and then okay, now you can go. So I would say the worst people that got it were some of my friends in Shanghai because they actually did get locked into their house for, I forgot, maybe a month or so.
Okay.
And I mean that was pretty serious. That probably that sucked for them. And then the only other people I would say that got it kind of tough was like people flying in internationally from somewhere else.
I heard that was like an airport stay.
Like maybe you're right.
You get out of the airport, but you go to like a specific hotel and then you stay
14
quarantined.
days.
14 days. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard about this.
That's the worst case that you could have got. Is like if you had to fly in, you do 14 days and then you're free to go.
14
So,
days, no COVID, you're free to go.
Yeah.
If you get COVID, that's a whole
That's
nother story. We don't know what happens.
Another
to
7, another 14. Who knows? Maybe a month
knows?
you're in the hotel. That's tough.
Oh man, yeah. And we laugh about it now because it's over, but yeah, obviously that's a rough period. But that's good to know. I think this is great information for people. I mean, we were hearing, all right, is everyone's locked in their building forever in China or multiple years, and they're still locked down. You know, it's just some of the stuff was outrageous. And like you said, from my experience in China, is even if the rule is something like you said, you can only go out twice a week to get groceries, and you can get unlimited delivery, which makes sense when you say it. They're even relaxed on that, right?
Yeah,
to some degree.
there is. I mean, people are human, you know. Like, every security guard is not going to be on watch 24/7. You know what I mean? Some of these guys just.
What do you need? Go ahead and do it.
Just
Do what you need to do.
don't care anymore.
Be reasonable.
I seen this guy every day.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's fine. Just go. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't that serious. But some people were like, took it very, very, very serious. And it's like, all right, whatever. everybody's different. Anyways, I really didn't get a hard time, to be honest.
What do you think about the mask thing here versus in the United States? It was about 50-50 of people wearing masks. Here in China, before I left, I saw a lot of people with masks. What was your experience in the province like with masks?
It was like everybody's wearing masks.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, you had to wear masks.
Okay.
It was mandatory if you were going to ride like any kind of public transportation. If you're going to be like, let's say in a restaurant, okay, now you can take it off. You got to eat, whatever. But everybody had like their distancing. And still, a lot of people to this day, I still see people wearing masks, but I mean, not many at all anymore.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was like mandatory. You would have to wear it.
Yeah, we had a big divide, and just telling you this because like we were in the U.S. for it. You were in China, so in the U.S. we had people who were like all like on both sides of the mask thing, right? Some of them were calling them face diapers, and some people were like, "You got to wear this mask." So
Yeah.
it was a big like divide and going back and forth about who wanted to wear the mask, who wasn't going to wear the mask, etc. So in China, everyone was pretty much just wearing the mask, and it was not a big deal.
No, they had to wear a mask.
So, all right. So now we're through COVID, and I guess one of the biggest follow-ups to your initial vacation stay in China that was going to be, hey, let's give this a shot and stay short term, to now you're here 8 years. What made you stay? I mean, what made this turn into a long-term experience rather than a short 1 year, 6 month stint?
Well, like I said, after 1 year, I already had built a small but humble team there, and it just started growing and growing. Before COVID, I was like the location of my academy was in like a college town, so I was getting a lot of these like young college killers, like these kids coming from Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan and Russia, and like all with like judo experience or like sambo experience or jiu-jitsu experience already, and like hungry kids, like 19, 20, and 21, and the mat would be full of these kids. And so I mean, we had some killer training, and that they meshed in with like the guys that I already had previous to acquiring these like college kids. Okay, COVID comes and passes, and then slowly, everybody wants to pick up a new sport, and I don't know. I think I got attached to my students, and like my team started gaining some notoriety. My team's like probably, I mean, not probably, but I don't want to toot my own horn, but like in the province, we have the most competitive guys.
They're for real.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have the best guys, like hands down, like the best quality training. People from all over the province, like all the other black belts that are from the province, come to train at my gym. Not all the time, not full time, obviously, because they have their own thing to do too as well.
Right?
But they come to train with us, and I don't know. My vision always was like to, once I started coaching, I was like, damn, I want to make champions. Like, I want to be like my coach, like making guys good, especially making somebody good from like nothing, from starting from white belt.
That's the most fulfilling.
Yeah, so I have some guys that have already started from white belt with me, like, and now they've moved on to like almost like to purple. I got some guys. I got a brown belt already, from white to brown. I got 3 black belts under me, not from white belt. They came already at a belt already, but I mean, I got some guys that have already won like the Abu Dhabi World Pro. So I mean, I've done okay. I've always just wanted to create like something where they're just like, hey, this guy came from that academy. This guy's gonna be legit, And hasn't been easy, but that's what made me stay, because every year that passed, like a bunch more students come, and like I try to create the same kind of atmosphere that we have in LA. We like to come in, train hard. We can joke around, talk some shit a little bit, you know what I mean?
Right. But then there's business.
But this is business,
Yep.
Like I don't want to hear anybody like complaining that they lost and this and that. I had to like, there's a lot of like little cultural things I had to like explain to my guys in regards to like winning and losing, because especially like some of my Chinese guys, and not just my Chinese guys, but like Also, some of the other foreign guys that I have, like, they wouldn't want to lose, like, in practice. And it's like, hey, I get that. I totally understand. So, but man, it's like, don't like train to win in practice. You know what I mean? That means nothing. If you really want to like test yourself, okay, let's go find the next tournament. Let's put you in there. You know what I'm saying? So that is different from training in the U.S. You know what I mean? We can have competitive like sessions in the U.S. Don't get me wrong, but there's specific sessions for that. You know, if you want to have a highly competitive role, as we say, a spar,
Sure.
you're gonna go to competition class, and that's where everybody in that room that walks in that room that day, they already know. Like it's already an unspoken agreement. Hey, we're going for it today. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. But you don't have to go for it like on a Tuesday night. You know, after everybody had just gotten off work. This guy's tired. This guy like just finished feeding his kid or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, chill out, man. Relax. Not every day is the competition, you know? Wait for it. Otherwise, you're going to leave your competition on the mat. You're not going to have anything left for when you go. So, yeah. So, I don't know. That made me stay. I have a lot of characters on my gym. So, of course, you know, you start to like, you start to really love these guys. You know, they're your guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've really built up a love for that gym and really a home in China.
Yeah, I mean, for forever, definitely not. But for the time being, absolutely. Just because like we just moved into a new location, it's like it's one of the, I think if it's probably the nicest location in Hangzhou. Definitely not the province. I don't know about all that, but it's like very modern, very clean. 100 square meters of mats, like. I mean, looking pretty good. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Thank God. But yeah, I mean, for now, I'm happy with how everything is going. We get new guys every week, so you know, for now, this is the plan right now.
Heck yeah. Well, guys, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna get back to some random stories of just daily life in China. So stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back, and let's talk about some of the stuff Marco's done just around China as being here as a foreigner. So, getting your driver's license. Can you explain like that process? And we were just having that food earlier, and you were discussing you just got your license, rented a car. What's that like, and what's the process?
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty easy, actually, to be honest. Like when like a couple years ago, I had like some friends that said like, oh, they got their license. Like, yeah, it's 100 question test, and you know you got to score a 90.
Kind of like the DMV back home.
Yeah, like it's like I forgot.
Did you have to do all that?
Well, that's what I thought, you know, and that's what it sounded like according to my friends at that time. They were like, yeah, it's a 100 question test. You got to get 90 or above. And you gotta do the driving test and all that. And I was like, man, for what? I was like, you know, here the taxis are cheap. There's a metro that takes you like all over the city. They cost like, I mean, it's like $1 to go from one side of the city to the other side. Like, I don't even know how to say like.
Oh yeah, it's so cheap to use public transit.
It's like going like from here all the way to my gym. Like the distance is like ridiculous. It's $1. You know what I mean? And it's like fast and efficient and clean and quick. So anyways, I thought like, I never wanted to get it. Like for what? There's no need. So a couple of my students I'd seen always like riding around their cars, and they're like, oh, man, you should get your license. You should get your license. And then I never asked them what process that they had getting their license until one of my students from Wales, actually this guy, he's like, hey, coach, he's like, you need a ride home? I was like, oh, perfect. I was like, cool. And we hop in his car. I was like, oh, dude, this car's nice. And he tells me what kind of car it is.
Do you have a Chinese car? Or
Yeah, Chinese car.
Oh, goodness.
And I was like, damn, this car's nice. I was like, you buy this? I was like, you're rich or what? He's like, no, I'm just leasing it. And he's leasing it for like, I don't know, like in terms of like US dollars, probably I think it was like no more than $300.
Okay, yeah.
And I I was like, oh, do you have to do the test and all that stuff? And he's like, no. He's like, what do you mean take the test? He's like, it's such a like a way easier way to do it. And I was like, what do you mean?
What?
And so he's like, look, get your like U.S. driver's license translated, okay? Use a translation service. So here we use like you can either send it like to somebody on your WeChat, you know, which is like your Rolodex over here, right?
Yeah.
For people who don't know what it is, but or use Taobao.
Yeah, search a translation service in Taobao. Yeah.
And then like you send them a picture, then they translate it for you. They send it back to you in like 3 days, 5 days, or what, I forgot what it was. That cost $11. All right. And so then I had my translation. I had to take my translation, my residence permit, my U.S. driver's license, and my passport. And so he's like, yeah, just get it translated, and you take it and you tell them you want a temporary driver's license. They're going to give you a driver's license for a year, you know. You pay them like $2, right? And then like you're
Done.
in the office for 20 minutes, and
What
it's
is
done.
this? What
You're
is
in the office
this?
for 20 minutes, and then they give it to you, and that's it. And this weekend, I just like rented a car, you know, for the first time ever. So I was like, man, let me.
And how was that process? Just roll up to the rental agency, or did you do it online, or?
The first try, I used Alipay.
Okay.
Right, I used Alipay, but I did something wrong, so just ended up canceling it. Okay, full refund, it's done. Then I asked my Irish student. I was like, hey, so how do you rent cars? Because he's always renting cars, right? And he's like, oh, look, he's like, use this app, and I was like, all right. So I used this app. I picked the car, and I picked the pickup location and the drop-off location. How long I want to book it for? We booked it for 3 days. And I paid a deposit.
Was the deposit crazy or pretty reasonable compared to United States?
The deposit was a little bit. I mean, I don't even know what the deposit is like now.
About 500 in the United States, I'd say.
Okay, actually, this one was a little bit more than this one was. I think maybe because it's my first time ever.
Sure, and
You know
foreigner.
what I mean? Yeah. So it was like $700. Like,
700 USD. That's probably,
Yeah.
honestly, that's probably on par. 500, 750, something in there for US. I don't know what they hold your card for.
Yeah, so it was like $700, but like renting the car was like $200 for 3 days.
Okay, yeah.
And the car is like super nice. It's
Chinese
like,
car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a BYD, right? And it's like one of their like kind of like, I don't know, it's not luxury, but it's not a basic.
Was it all electric?
Hybrid.
Hybrid, okay.
Hybrid. But I mean, super smooth. Like it was a badass car, to be honest.
Did you wind up so you wound up getting gas in it during
No.
those 3 days, or you got it?
No, so actually I just turned it back today, and
You didn't even need to fill up at all.
I should have, but they were just like, even the guy, like when I went to return it, like we're using the translation app to like
He
talk
was
to
like,
each
it's cool.
other.
It don't matter. Yeah.
He said like, oh, it's like, are you sure you don't want to like go like fill it up?
Yeah.
It might be more cost effective for you. I was like, man, I ran out of time, and I was like, bro, I don't have any time. Sorry. He's like, okay, hold on. There's gonna be a charge. I was like, all right, and it was like $20. It was like $20 for those 3 days of like driving around. I mean, like all over the city. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like I don't know how long I drove, but I drove it full for 3 days. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like it was like nothing. You
Yeah,
know?
that's it. And then as far as you have a residency permit, but your one of your students from Wales, does he have a residency permit, or how did he get his license like that?
Same.
Same way.
They base it off of your visa, right? So like, if you have a visa here that's longer than 6 months, you're eligible.
You're good. Okay, that's
get
what
a
I was trying to.
temporary driver's license.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what all you would need. So as long as you're not on a quick tourist visa, you should be able to grab it that way. If it's over 6 months stay,
Yeah, I mean, if you have one that's only like valid 60 days or 90 days, I really don't.
That'd be a
think
little
you're
tricky.
I really don't think you're gonna get it.
and you wouldn't need to rent a car for that.
I don't think so. I mean, for what? What do you need a
Yeah.
car? I mean, you can. If you, I mean, no, I don't think so, dude. To be honest.
Yeah, I don't see that
Taxis everywhere is all
being good
good.
either. And then as far as driving, like for people who are staying for a long time, any driving tips and tricks out there on the streets? I mean, What about driving in China is different from LA?
I mean, well, from China and LA, they're pretty similar because
It's wild.
people don't care, you know, they're just gonna cut you off or whatever.
Yep.
But the one thing you gotta watch out for is like the speed cameras.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get pulled over here, you know.
Right.
Like, there's no like patrol cars or anything like that. You're not gonna get pulled over. But if you're like speeding on the highway and then like, you know, you see a flash, it's like, man, you might have got a ticket like in the mail, you know what I mean? Like, but that's similar to like highways in the US as well, right? That's also exists over there, but here it's like everywhere. Like,
here we have in China you'll have the ticket systems all speed cameras, but the fines are so inexpensive. I don't know if you know, but like my wife, her father drives all the time around here, and the ticket system is so cheap. It's mainly the points you have to worry about. So if you get so many points, then you're screwed in China. Yeah. But as far as the fines, you're not going to get bankrupt on tickets here.
No.
In Europe is where the speed cameras and the euros can eat you up real quick. It's like you'll owe 300, 500, 700 euros real quick in speeding around Europe.
Oh my God. That's insane.
And in US, you'll actually get stopped by a patrol car. Whereas in both countries, that's like obsolete now. In China and Europe, you really don't have like a guy pull you over in a car and say like, stop, what you doing?
Oh, in Europe too, really?
Europe, that's pretty obsolete now. There's some, you know, places that's still a thing, but it's so rare compared to the United States. There's still a bunch of state patrol in the United States.
Like here, the only time you'll see like a cop actually like pull somebody over is actually when like two people got into an accident.
Yeah, an accident. That's about what I was gonna say.
That's
the
it.
Only time I've seen it is an accident. Is you have to hit somebody.
Then like the guy will come and like and be like the mediator.
He'll get you off the road.
Yeah.
All right, what happened here, guys? Get off the road.
Exactly. But it was pretty easy driving over here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. You know, you just get behind the wheel, take care of yourself. Don't do anything stupid. And I think it's pretty common sense. You know.
Sure. What other wild stories you have from China, just from, you know, living, going about China, and what do you think people would want to, what do you think some assumptions are that they might think China's like versus what you found it to be daily, just roaming around?
I think one major assumption people are going to have is like, they think everybody here is like walking around with like a straw hat with like two buckets on the end of like some pole, like walking on their shoulders all day, every day. It's like, I mean, you gotta stop watching those movies. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in the countryside.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's still for sure, 100%. But I mean, like here, man, the stuff there's some stuff that's like technology is pretty, like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like some people pay with like their handprint. I mean, I've seen that before. Some people pay with their face. I mean, the food delivery system is like out of control. You could order something on your phone and like you hear somebody knocking on your door 20 minutes later. I mean, there's food like 24 hours. You know what I mean? Like
anytime you want food.
If you're hungry, like at 4 a.m, like you're gonna find something. It might not be like the best choice, but you're not gonna be hungry anymore. That's for sure.
Yep.
The high-speed train, super efficient, you know. So I go from like Hangzhou to Shanghai in an hour. The metro's efficient. I'm just trying to think about some crazy stories. I mean, I have a few. I just got to think about what's podcast friendly.
Let's keep it PG-13. Let's not scare them too much. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Yeah, and even as your girlfriend and my wife walked out, she mentioned like, all I got to take is my phone. Like both of them just had to grab their phone and they're good to go.
Oh yeah.
So that's a difference about here is like you just carry your phone with you, nothing else.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool too, because like, you know, even though I had some friends back home like, no man, I don't want to pay with my phone. They're gonna know, like, you know, in the U.S. like, oh, they're gonna know like, you know, where I'm at. That's how they're gonna monitor you and this and that. I was like, well, what's the difference if you pay with your phone or you pay with your debit card? I mean, it's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like I don't get it, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like another thing here is about, you know, nobody uses cash.
Almost no cash.
Almost no cash.
Yeah.
Some people still.
and it's the older generation on the street at 6 a.m. in the morning paying for their veggies. This is when I see the cash out.
Yeah,
I don't know about you.
I've seen the cash, like it's always like the grandmas and grandpas,
exactly,
like getting their groceries and stuff,
Yeah. And there's still coins, like they'll still use coins and stuff out of the little. I don't know if you've seen the silver coins coming out. There's one R&B silver coin.
Yeah.
I'll see come out. Yeah,
I've seen it. But
that's so rare. I mean, for us, we never use cash. I mean, that's just
no.
For our age, we don't use cash in China at all.
No, another I wouldn't say it's a crazy story. I mean, just kind of another like day in the life. Like I've lost my phone here like I don't even know 3 times. You know, just because I'm careless. You know, I just I'll put it in my pocket and whatever. But I've lost it like 3 times. I've recovered it like 3 times. You know what I'm saying?
If you lose it 6 times, how many times do you think it'll be recovered?
6 for sure.
It's crazy.
It's so easy,
You lose that phone once in LA and it ain't coming back.
Last time I was home, I lost it and didn't get it back.
You didn't get it back. Yeah. So that's something I feel like we take for granted in China.
Yeah, I mean,
is like I'm pretty careless as well, and like you sit your bag down or your phone or whatever it is, and nothing's ever lost because someone, as long as it has some association to you, they can find you and get it back to you. They will
for sure.
Or if you just go back to where you lost it, it's normally sitting right back where you left it.
And if it's not there, it's probably because like the
cleaner or the police station.
Yeah, they'll get it and then they'll say, hey, somebody forgot this.
Yep.
So somebody will probably be back to come get it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, that in that sense, I would say like it's pretty safe. Like nothing's gonna happen to like your personal property for sure.
It's wild here in that regard. I think it's the safest place, one of the safest places on earth, I think.
Yeah, I'd say like in terms of like violence or like theft or I don't even know what else. I mean those are kind of
the big ones. Yeah, those are the big ones.
Yeah, those are the 2 of the major ones.
Have you seen any violence at all when you're in China?
I mean, if like one time, like 2 drunk guys, like not even a crazy fight, but
one guy swinging or something.
Yeah, I mean, but it like no connections, and like this guy's like
too drunk for a connection.
Party A's friends is like taking him away. Party B's friends is taking him away. You know what I mean? They're like, no, he's too drunk. He's too drunk. And whatever.
Yeah, but you've been here 8 years, so it's just good for people to hear. Like it's a lot to see any type of violence or theft or anything like that in China. I mean, that's very, very rare here.
It's very rare.
So it's good. Yeah, it's just good for them to have context on it. I mean, it takes 8 years to see one bar fight. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it. Really, to be honest, I couldn't even think about another one.
That's excitement for China.
Honestly.
So that's cool. I'm trying to think of some more interesting ones, but compare some countries for people at home. It's like you mentioned Thailand. You mentioned, of course, your time in LA and then China. What do you think are some of the key things that you notice if you travel between those 3? And then, like, what are the major comparisons of people who would love to travel to China or travel to Thailand or travel to LA who haven't been to LA in the United States? I don't know. What other states have you been to in the U.S.?
Ooh, I mean, I've lost count. So many, but the Asian countries over here, it's been like Japan, Korea. No, I gotta scratch Korea. I've only been in the airport, so Japan, Thailand, and the Philippines. I would say, I mean, for the most part, I mean, don't get me wrong, China's very, very safe, but if you go looking in any place in the world, you go looking for trouble in the wrong place, you're gonna find it.
You can find it.
You know what I mean?
True.
I would just say, don't be acting like a fool. You know what I mean? Don't like if you're traveling alone, that's all good. I would say just, don't act like a fool, like respect the local laws. You know what I mean? It's not your country, right? So when people go to the US and like we expect them to follow the laws too, right? So there's no exception for us because, we're Americans or we're foreigners or we're from wherever. You go to whatever country you're going to, follow the laws because otherwise you're wrong. They're not wrong. You know what I mean? If you get in trouble, that's all on you. I mean, Thailand's really good too. I love going there. I mean, the weather's always good year round. Japan was also very nice. Like the food's super good. I'm a big sushi eater for sure, and that place is, man,
Oh yeah, if you want sushi, Japan.
the best.
Yep.
Philippines was also cool. Like we went like snorkeling and like swam with dolphins and crazy stuff like that. And the people are very nice. Food's good. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any negative things to say. Other than I wish I could go to each of them more often.
Right, every other weekend, right?
Yeah,
It's like
if I could, I would. but yeah, that's yeah. I mean, and the nice thing about China, it's kind of like centralized. It's kind of like in the middle. You can go to like anywhere in Southeast Asia, and like Japan and Korea right there too. Taiwan is also cool. I heard is super nice and like fun. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, you do make a great point there. Is if you're coming to China to travel, you're in Asia in a really good spot to travel many different countries.
Yeah.
So if you're going to China, you might as well hit at least one other Asian country and see, what's going on in one of the Japan, South Korea, Philippines, Thailand. No matter what your budget looks like or what kind of country interests you, hit one of those. Well, you're kind of tie that into your trip to China. Makes a lot of sense while you're over here if you're coming from the States.
And
Just 'cause it's a
China's
long
very
flight.
cost effective.
Very,
I mean?
very much so.
It's very cheap in terms of like traveling. It's very, very cheap.
Yeah, all in all, I mean, flights have gone up since before COVID.
Yeah.
But once you're over here, I think
It's all good.
yeah, it's all good.
And traveling within China is also super
Yeah.
cheap. You know. Oh, okay. I have a crazy story because I've been thinking the whole time behind my head as we're talking, but
You're replaying those 8 years. You're like, I got something.
but this one is podcast friendly. So there's a bar next to my gym, which actually like one of my students knows the owners because they both went to the University of Scotland. It's random, and so it's called Punch Bear. Okay, and so you can go in there, and it looks like a very like dingy like warehouse, which I like that feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I like that kind of style. But they will have like semi-pro guys like fighting, like little 3 minute rounds of boxing and kickboxing. And so one fight will be like the semi-pro guys. And then the next one, they start to be like, all right, hey, do we have any guys here, 70 kgs, like, that wants to fight? And then we'll get one drunk guy from that corner, and then this other guy from the other corner. They come over and they sign the waivers, and then they get in there and they just start swinging for the fences, and it's like we're just there like watching these two drunk guys like fighting. We're like, oh man, it's the best. And then you just walk outside, get some barbecue, come back inside, like two chicks are fighting now, like from the crowd. I was like, all right, dude, this place is cool. You know what I mean? This is my kind of speed right here. But yeah, then everybody's all good after that. You know what I mean? They're just like all buddies and chilling.
My goodness.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people wouldn't believe this is China. I mean, a lot of people listening to this might not believe this is China.
I mean, you're not going to find a place like that back home, to be honest. I mean, you might. I'm sure it probably exists somewhere, but like, I don't think people would expect that. Be like, what, in China, bro? Like, you serious? I was like, yeah, dude. Dead serious.
I think there's a lot of chaos I've seen in China that doesn't get out of hand as I think it would in the United States. It doesn't get as out of hand as I would expect it to in the United States. Like if you put that in the United States, it would get crazy.
Yeah, maybe somebody like gets pissed off because they lost or whatever.
Yeah.
Like maybe somebody might get like,
Something
might happen to them.
Something gets
after.
brought in or something. Yes,
Yeah.
something goes a little too wild. And China has a way of keeping it just not specifically China in terms of the government. I'm just saying in terms of the culture, keeps things in line to where like the alcohol laws are very relaxed here. I'm sure you're aware. It's super relaxed.
For sure.
I mean, you can take a bottle to McDonald's. You can also take a bottle to the, like you said, the local MMA ring with the amateurs.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can like people like to drink here, that's like that's all good. They like to work hard, and then they like to have their drinks afterwards too, and like two guys might be arguing, but it's like, like I said, you almost never gonna see like some.
Yeah, you
some
never see it go over
blows.
the edge. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no.
It's very different, very unique. So I'm thinking to wrap this up, a few other points people might want to know about your experience in China and different things. I think, yeah, I hear the baby out there. I think they just got back, but yeah, it's things people might want to know is your time. I guess a few of your favorite things in China and your time in China. What would you highly recommend if someone's taking a trip to China? Things that they consider seeing, doing, opening their mind to once they get here. What should they kind of, hey, don't worry about these things, or hey, at least visit these places or see these things when you get here, or this is what my message to you if you're visiting China for the first time. What would you say to those people?
My first message would be just like don't be shy, you know what I mean? Like don't be shy to like try to talk to somebody, but don't be like overly I would say like trying to force them to talk back to you, like just, if you say hi to like to the local shop people or getting some food or whatever, actually they're probably going to be trying to chat you up because they're excited they're going to have like some foreigners in their shop, and their noodle shop or their dumpling shop or what, or their shao kao, the barbecue or whatever, they'll probably chat you up. You'll get, and like and don't be shy if somebody comes up to you and like they want to cheers with you and like they want to like have a drink with you. Like that's just their way of like saying what's up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Places to see, my God, there's so many. Shanghai is like super, super nice. You got to visit obviously everybody visits the Great Wall, but they also have the Avatar Mountains where like they shot some of the movie.
You say that casually, but I don't think a lot of people know Avatar was shot in China, and those mountains are
crazy.
They're crazy. If you go out there, they're crazy.
The Avatar Mountains super crazy. The Terracotta Warriors in Xi'an, that's also like a very iconic, ancient site to see, like for China history. You also have like the south, like Yunnan. It's almost like like the Thailand of China.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's this whole deal.
And people don't know like the Gobi Desert is part of China.
Yep.
Like in the north, I've been there. Like we drove from Beijing to Inner Mongolia one time to go compete in like a jiu-jitsu tournament, and we're like, oh, let's just take a road trip.
Dip out this way.
Took forever, but it was we got a lot of good footage, So, man, I mean the list goes on and on. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to see, So I would just say, have an open mind. Don't be disrespectful. People won't be disrespectful to you. That's a rule for anywhere, right? Don't be a dick, man. People are not gonna be a dick back to you. That's pretty much easy. That's it. Yeah.
It's that simple, guys.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
That's it.
No. Well, Marco, I want to just thank you again. Thanks for being on the podcast. And if you guys are in town in Hangzhou, stop by his gym, say hi. I'll put the link in the podcast description, and we'll catch you guys next time. Hopefully this was helpful. Shows you a side of China you wouldn't otherwise see or hear. Cheers.